A skeletal puppy standing in the middle of a desolate
Get out of the
country
road, buddy.
At sunset, refusing to move despite an approaching patrol car. Jax steps out. Get out of the road, buddy. But the puppy doesn't run. It limps directly toward him, whining, then grabs his pant leg and pulls. Welcome to Mr. Bryan's Tale, where every story takes you on an unforgettable journey. Whether it's thrilling adventures, heartwarming moments, or tales that'll keep you on the edge of your seat, this is your destination for captivating storytelling. If you love getting lost in exciting narratives and discovering new worlds with every video, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss out on the next amazing tale. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Officer Jaxson Reed had been patrolling Old Mill Road for 6 years, and he'd seen plenty of strays. But this one was different. The puppy appeared just before sunset, standing dead center in the road, like he was waiting. Jax slowed the cruiser, expecting the dog to bolt into the brush. Instead, the animal limped directly toward him, ribs sharp under filthy fur, paws cracked and bleeding, eyes locked on Jax with an intensity that made his stomach tighten. "Easy, buddy," Jax murmured, stepping out. He crouched low, holding out a hand. The puppy didn't sniff it. He grabbed Jax's pant leg in his teeth and pulled. Not aggressive. Desperate, Jax gently freed himself and walked to the trunk. He pulled out an emergency protein bar, broke off a piece, and tossed it. The puppy ignored it. Instead, he circled behind Jax, pushed his nose against the back of Jax's knee, and shoved. What the hell? The radio crackled. Unit 12 status? Jax pressed a button. I'm 10-6, Sarah. Got a stray in the road. Copy. Animal control closes at 6. If you can't catch it, move on. Jax frowned. He looked down. The puppy was pulling again, harder now, whining, eyes fixed on the tree line. All right. Jax scooped him up. The dog weighed almost nothing. He placed him in the back seat, grabbed the protein bar, and tore it into pieces. The puppy ate mechanically, never breaking eye contact. Jax started the engine. The puppy lunged at the window, clawing, barking, a sound Jax had never heard from a dog this size. Raw, panicked. "Okay," Jax whispered. "Okay, I'm listening." He turned off the engine. Jax tried everything. He brought the puppy to the county shelter, explained the situation. The intake officer scanned for a chip. Nothing. No collar. No ID. We'll hold him for 72 hours. If no one claims him. She didn't finish. She didn't need to. Jax left. Got 2 miles down the road. His radio crackled. Unit 12, we got a situation. You're stray. Just chewed through a kennel lock. Jax closed his eyes. When he pulled back into the shelter lot, the puppy was sitting by his cruiser, waiting. Sarah's voice came through again. "Reed, you've been off route for 40 minutes. Move it along." "Copy," Jax said quietly. He stared at the dog. The puppy stared back, then turned and took 3 steps toward the woods. Stopped, looked over his shoulder. Every instinct Jax had screamed that this wasn't random. He radioed back. "Sarah, I need 20 minutes. "Negative. You're not a vet, Jax. You're a cop. Get back on patrol." Jax hesitated. Then he saw it, tucked against the puppy's neck, barely visible under matted fur. A faded piece of cloth. He knelt and gently pulled it free. A torn piece of flannel. Old, stained with blood. His chest went cold. "Dispatch! I'm following up on a possible medical emergency." "Reed, don't you dare." He clicked off the radio. The puppy bolted the moment Jax stood. Not away, toward the woods. Jax followed, flashlight in hand, boots crunching through underbrush as the sun dipped below the tree line. The puppy ran hard, stopping every 30 feet to make sure Jax was still behind him. A guide, a messenger. And then Jax saw the cabin. The cabin was barely standing, roof sagging, windows dark. But the puppy didn't stop there. He veered left, deeper into the woods, toward a clearing Jax wouldn't have seen without the flashlight. And then he saw him, an old man collapsed against a tree, one leg twisted at a sickening angle. His face was gray, his breathing shallow. A walking stick lay 10 feet away. a water bottle, unopened, just out of reach. Jesus. Jax breathed. He sprinted forward, dropping to his knees. He pressed 2 fingers to the man's neck. Faint pulse, barely there. Jax keyed his radio. Dispatch. I need an ambulance at Old Mill Road, approximately half a mile into the woods past the turnoff. Male, elderly, unresponsive, possible broken hip. Severe dehydration. Move now. Sarah's voice came back sharp. Reed, how do you even? Just send it. Jax ripped open his first aid kit. He checked airway, breathing, circulation. The man's skin was ice cold. Jax shrugged off his jacket and draped it over him. The puppy pressed himself against the man's chest, whining, soft, broken sounds. Jax's throat tightened. How long have you been out here, buddy? He whispered. The man didn't answer, but his hand, shaking weak, moved an inch. His fingers brushed the puppy's head. The puppy licked them. Jax worked fast. He stabilized the leg, elevated it slightly, checked vitals again. Pulse dropping. He started chest compressions. 1, 2, 3, then breath. Again. Come on. Stay with me. In the distance, sirens. The puppy never moved. He stayed pressed against the man's chest, eyes locked on Jax, as if to say, I brought you. Now save him. And Jax did. 3 days later, Jax walked into County General with a leash in his hand and a puppy at his side. The nurse smiled. Room 14. He's been asking for you. Jax pushed open the door. The old man was sitting up, thin, bruised, but alive. His eyes went straight to the puppy. Scout, he whispered. The puppy Scout exploded forward, leaping onto bed, tail whipping, licking the man's face with pure, unfiltered joy. The man laughed, deep, wet, full of relief, and wrapped his arms around him. Jax's chest ached watching it. I'm Jax Reed, he said quietly. I'm the officer who found you. The man nodded. Silas Crow. And you didn't find me, son. He scratched Scout's ears. He did. Jax sat. How long were you out there? 3 days. Slipped on wet leaves. Hip snapped. Tried to crawl back. Couldn't. Silas's voice cracked. I knew I was done. So I let him go. Told him to run. Find someone. And he ran miles, Jax said softly. Straight to the road. Wouldn't leave until I followed. Silas closed his eyes. A tear slipped down his cheek. He's all I got left. My wife passed 2 years ago. No kids. Just me and Scout. He looked at Jax. I thought I'd die alone out there, but he wouldn't let me. Jax swallowed hard. Silas reached out, gripped Jax's hand. Thank you for listening to him. Jax shook his head. He's the one who saved you. I just drove the car. Silas smiled. You followed a puppy into the woods when your dispatcher told you not to. That's more than driving. Jax stayed for an hour. When he left, Scout was curled on Silas's chest, right where he belonged. 2 weeks later, Jax sat across from dispatcher Sarah in the break room. She slid a mug of coffee toward him. I was wrong, she said quietly. Jax blinked. I pushed you to move on. Told you it was a waste of time. She looked down. If you'd listened to me, Silas Crow would be dead. Jax didn't answer right away. Then he nodded. You were doing your job, keeping me on schedule. I get it. No. Sarah met his eyes. I was doing policy. You did the right thing. Jax left the station that evening and drove to Silas's house, a small, tidy place on the edge of town. Silas answered the door with Scout at his heels, tail wagging. Didn't expect to see you again, Silas said, smiling. Just checking in. They sat on the porch. Silas told him stories about Vietnam, about his wife, about the day he found Scout abandoned behind a gas station and decided one rescue deserved another. I named him Scout, Silas said, because that's what he did for me. Scout had a reason to keep going. Jax looked at the puppy, now healthy, bright-eyed, resting his head on Silas's boot. He saved you twice, Jax said. Silas nodded. And you gave me the chance to say thank you. Jax visited every Sunday after that. And when Silas passed 3 years later, peacefully in his sleep, Jax adopted Scout. The dog lived another decade. And every time Jax responded to a call, Scout rode shotgun, because some things matter more than clocks. Some loyalty runs deeper than duty. And sometimes the smallest voice carries the most important message. You just have to listen. The story of Officer Jaxson Reed and Scout reminds us that heroism doesn't always wear a badge. Sometimes it comes on 4 paws and a heart too big to quit. In a world that moves too fast, where dispatchers push us to stay on schedule and protocols tell us what matters, it takes courage to stop and listen to the small, desperate voices crying out for help. Silas Crow was invisible to the world, a forgotten veteran living alone in the woods, with no family, no visitors, no safety net. When he fell, there was no one to call, no one to notice he was missing, except Scout. And Scout refused to let him die alone. This puppy ran miles on bleeding paws, stood in the middle of a darkening road, and fought through every obstacle. Hunger, exhaustion, human indifference. Because love doesn't calculate odds. Loyalty doesn't check the clock. And sometimes the bond between a man and his dog is the only thing standing between life and death. Jax could have driven away. He could have followed orders. But he chose to listen, not to the voice on the radio, but to the voice that couldn't speak in words. And that choice changed everything. Scout didn't just save Silas that day. He reminded Jax and all of us that the most important calls we'll ever answer aren't the ones that come through dispatch. They're the ones that tug at our sleeves, pull at our hearts, and refuse to let us walk away. So here's the question for you. Have you ever ignored a small voice, animal or human, try and tell you something urgent, only to regret it later? Or maybe you listened when everyone told you not to, and it changed someone's life. What happened? Drop your story in the comments below. Because at Mr. Bryan Tales, we believe every act of listening, every moment of courage, deserves to be heard. And if this story moved you, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we're just getting started. Next week, we're bringing you another true story that will restore your faith in humanity and remind you why loyalty is the most powerful force on earth. This is Mr. Bryan Tales, where every story matters and every hero gets remembered. See you in the next one. Stay curious, stay kind, and always listen.